I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. Nothing I need to rearrange. I'm beautiful, capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. Here's one for you. I love you just the way you are. There's nothing you need to do. When I see who I am, it's easy to love you. Behind the tears, some rage, some fear, you're a shining star. That's why I love you just the way you are. I love you just the way you are and the way I am, but still I need to grow. What I feel deep inside can always be better, I know. We're all beautiful and capable of being the best we can. And I love myself just the way I am. Ooh, ooh, ba, 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 ba. We're beautiful and capable of being the best we can. That's why I love you just the way you are. And I love myself just the way I am. Just the way I am. Just the way, just the way, just the way I am.
Take a moment of prayer. If you just close your eyes and put your feet on the ground and feel the grounding of the floor below you. Feel the seat in your chair. And take a deep breath. Feeling that presence, that one and only presence that we call by many names, God, the universe, spirit, that one, whatever it is that we call it, it is that energy that has supplied life for each and every one of us and for all of nature. That God, or energy, or spirit, has put it all together and has put us here in this place to be the love and the light that shines through to one another and to nature. We are here to love one another, to show compassion, to experience joy and laughter, and to love ourselves. So once we do that, we are then able to love others. Without that love of self, it's very hard to reach out to others. So we know this to be true, and we know too that in coming together in community like today, it helps us remember that. It helps us feel that inside. to know that we are loved so greatly and so deeply and so unconditionally that we can relax into who we are and shine that love out to others and out into the world. And we know in this community we have so many beautiful, beautiful people, beautiful spirits who help us put these Sunday services together. And we are appreciative of each and every one, our ushers, our AV team, our music, our practitioners, our hospitality, and Reverend Jenn, who brings us all together with great words of wisdom. And we know that each and every Sunday we receive a nugget or two or three or four that we can take with us during the week, and today is no exception. So in this knowing, and in this being here today and feeling this community, this beautiful love that we feel for one another, we know that it is blessed, and each one of us is a blessing. So as we are grateful and thankful for this knowing, we say together, and so it is. Okay, words of wisdom for today. It's on loving yourself. The first one is from that great unknown, that wonderful person who does so much for us. Says, learn to love yourself first instead of loving the idea of other people loving you. I thought that was pretty profound. And the second one I chose today is also from Unknown. When you love yourself, you glow from the inside. You attract people who love, respect, and appreciate your energy. Everything starts with you and how you feel about yourself. Start feeling worthy, valuable, deserving of receiving the best life has to offer. Be magnetic. And from the Honorary Dr. Ernest Holmes, you can attract only that which you first mentally become and feel yourself to be in reality, without any doubting.
A few weeks ago, Reverend Bridget was here and supported us with a ritual, and it was a ritual on receiving divine love. And I was so excited about that title because we were going to move into a process where we could absolutely open up that channel, that pathway to just get that truth, that knowing that God loves us, to be loved by the divine. And it was just such a great process, the ritual we went through, and we got to write a letter to ourselves from God. And it was there was just so much power in that. And just like the song we sang earlier, and just like the song that Karen sang, if we can get this piece, that we are loved, that we are lovable, then we can grasp onto the idea of how we can love others and how we can love self, others, the planet, etc. It's just so significant, and God doesn't stop loving us. You heard that, right? God doesn't stop loving us. Okay, so you blew up and you said something maybe you shouldn't have, or oh my gosh, maybe you had a challenge, or oh my goodness, maybe you're grumbly today. Maybe it's just not one of your best days, and so you're just kind of grumbling around. That love, that pathway of that love coming to us from Spirit, wherever Spirit is constant. It's consistent. And we can feel it just by stopping and breathing. How beautiful is that? So we often say that the word God is synonymous with the word love. Because we say that God is all there is, love is all there is. That makes perfect sense. But what happens to us is we start to look out there in the world of conditions, and we see division. We see political unrest, we see prejudice, we see violence, war, and we start to kind of falter a little bit. We kind of start to maybe weaken our resolve about who we are and how we are. So this month, we are invited to lean into love. All month long, the whole month of September, we're just going to focus on love. Lean into love and express love out loud. Do you know how I express love out loud? I see someone I haven't seen in a while, and I make a shrieking sound, which usually startles a few people, and I run to wherever they are with my arms open wide so I can just embrace them. That's one of the ways that I love out loud. Now, you don't have to do it like I do, but you could possibly be a little louder than maybe you are. I don't know. We'll talk about that later. But let's look at this from the perspective of we want to recognize love every place we go. Remember that even if that child in the grocery store who's throwing a fit and is upset, there's still love there. We can still look at that beautiful being, that beautiful expression of God, and give love and express love. We don't have to approve of behavior because we're loving the heart space. We're loving the soul being, that presence within. So one of my friends moved out of Colorado a couple years ago and moved to another state, and I won't say where, and has been posting on Facebook forever the beauty of where he and his family now live, how gorgeous it is, how amazing it is, how incredible the people are. And this past week, he was telling a story that something that happened with one of his teenage sons, and he got stranded, something challenging happened, and someone just stopped and helped, and then made sure that everything got taken care of and got handled, and that the young man got to get home okay and all that stuff. And he was just talking about how this is so incredible that I live here, and I have these beautiful, amazing people that are just wanting to help and reach out, and how wonderful it is. And another friend of ours posted and said, boy, I wish you could send some of that our way. Now, that other friend happens to live in Colorado Springs. And so then I thought it was my duty to come in and post and say, I see this every day. I run into people every day who are loving and caring and appreciative. And I enjoy being in their presence, and I enjoy the connections. And now since I've moved to Monument, I'm meeting brand new people, and it's just even more exciting for me because I love meeting people I did not know before. And so I put this, I'll post on there, and then the friend who's in Colorado Springs comes back and says to me, can you send some of that my way? And I'm thinking, we're already pretty close, dude, but here's the thing. Here's the key, right here. What are you looking for? What's your expectation? Do you believe the world is basically good? Or do you believe the world is full of problematic people? Do you believe that God is in all people and all things? Or do you believe that there's maybe a little more selection going on in that process? Because it's truly happening to each of us as we believe. And I believe the world is good. And I believe that the majority of people are honest, and I believe that most people want to do good things, want to connect, want to be loved, want to love. And that has been my experience my entire life. So let's take some time with that this week and just kind of look at who we are, where we are, and what are we looking for. Because if you get out of bed and you leave the house to go to the bank and you think, oh, I gotta go to the bank, and those people are such a pain, and I always have to wait forever, and it's just gonna be terrible. Well, you might as well just go back to bed because you just set the pace for your day with that mindset. And we know this, we know how this works, how we can shift that. That's why we talk about changing our thinking. So our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, gives us this beautiful quote. Love is at the center of man's being, and the calm, continuous pulsations of life are governed by love. Now don't get confused, that is not a picture of Dr. Ernest Holmes. I just fell in love with that man's face and put his face on that quote so I could share it with you today. So enjoying the experience of being loved and loving others starts with ourselves. It starts with each one of us. Where did you learn to love you? Did you learn to love you? Did someone teach you how amazing, beautiful, and valuable you are? Did someone share that with you on a regular basis? Because that's where it begins. And once I know how to love me, once I know what I want, what I need, what I desire, and I know how to work that out for myself, then I can start looking to another individual and giving that to them as well. That's how it starts. So we are here for many reasons. The primary reason is to love, and to be a demonstration to the world of what that love is. To make that declaration so all people can go, those guys are really loving people. I want to know what they know. What's going on with them? So if we want to encourage others to love themselves, and we're loving ourselves out loud, we realize that the people around us will begin to benefit from that. And just as Sharon said in the one quote, we will become a magnet. We will draw them to us. And the people who don't care for that, the people who don't feel comfortable with that kind of mushy-gushy stuff, they'll just kind of fade off into the corner somewhere, and they'll work it through on their own. That's kind of how it works. When people see the strength in us, when people see the love in us, they're more likely to commit to their own practices and use that to influence and to dote on the people that they love. So we want to dive a little deeper into that self-love and share our experience with the world. So take just a moment and take a deep breath in and allow someone to come to mind that you know, past or present, that you believe is a truly loving individual. What is it about that person that brought them to your mind right now? Is it the joy that you feel when you're around them? Or when you were around them if they're no longer with us? Is it the grace and ease of which you are able to interact? I look at this, and for me, it's the person that I can say, I just need to tell you something. I don't need you to fix me. Would you be willing to listen? And they are willing to listen. And when we're done, we're done. That's one thing for me. Another thing for me is the light in someone's eyes. That beautiful, brilliant light that says, I'm engaging with you. I'm enjoying this moment with you. I'm enjoying this interaction. Maybe we're teasing, maybe we're making fun of something that's, playing around a little bit, maybe we're joking. But whatever it is, there's a comfort in it. I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to show up in any special way, and I don't have to alter who I am when I'm in the presence of this kind of love. I have another quote here from Dr. Ernest Holmes. Ultimately, we shall see that the universe rests on the shoulder of love. That God is love, and that all the errors of man are the result of ignorance of his own true nature. An evolved soul judges no one, condemns no one, but realizes that all are on the same road to experience, seeking the same goal, and that each must ultimately find his home in heaven. Now, for all of you who are members of the Science of Mind philosophy, you know that we talk about heaven is here on earth. We are creating that energy right now. It's not a place we're going to go to someday. So when he's talking about this, we will ultimately find our home in heaven, meaning we will create that for ourselves right here. That will become our experience. That beauty, that light, that brilliance. And the part in here where he says, an evolved soul judges no one. That means it doesn't judge itself. And that's where we start to get a little kittywampus from time to time in our self-love, because all of a sudden I've done something and I shouldn't have done that, and now I'm not happy about it, and now I'm in this place of self-recrimination. And I've moved out of that place of self-love because now I'm criticizing this beautiful, precious being within me that was created by God. So let's pay attention to that this week. You know, living a spiritual life requires a conscious understanding that spirit expresses itself as each one of us. We were created in our unique expression of the divine. When we recognize the divinity within all of us, we begin to recognize the divine within each of us. We are divine beings, and we're having a human experience. And sometimes that human experience is challenging. And yet, if we can just keep reminding ourselves that the divine is here, that I am one with the divine, that I'm expressing it, I can move past, through, around, over all of those nasty little things that keep happening, the conditions of life. It bogs us down. They make us feel less than sometimes. One of the things that we can do is use our intuition. Our intuition is the way that Spirit communicates with us. I know you thought you were making stuff up. Some of us thought, oh, that's my intuition, and I just made that up. No, that is a message, oftentimes from the divine. And if we start paying attention and we start listening and following through, we become more and more intertwined in that relationship and more connected. And it becomes more powerful to support us in all that we are and all that we choose to be. When we listen to that intuition and we allow it to guide us, we are living in the flow of love. Dr. Holmes tells us this. You belong to the universe in which you live. You are one with the creative genius back of this vast array of ceaseless motion, this original flow of life. You are as much a part of it as the sun, the earth, and the air. There is something in you telling you this, like a voice echoing from some mountaintop of inward vision, like a light whose origin no man has seen, like an impulse welling up from an invisible source. Wow, how beautiful. You are as much a part of it as the sun, the earth, and the air. Our intuition is always nudging us in the right direction. I don't know how yours works, but mine works with a simple whisper, a little nudge, and if I ignore it, it gets a little louder, it begins to get uncomfortable, and if I continue to ignore it, well, it's not a pretty sight. But I have learned over the years that when that little messaging comes forth, that little inner voice, that little idea that shows up within me, shows up, in that moment, I get to follow it. And I have never, ever had the experience of making a mistake or being let down by doing that very thing. When we are compelled towards a person or an experience, this is spirit in action. The divine is seeking to express its life through us. So it's prompting us to do the stuff that it wants to experience. That's why we use this terminology, living out loud and loving out loud. The divine isn't a quiet, inactive process or entity. It is alive. It is vibrant. It is powerful. When we can trust our intuition, we can make the most loving choices for ourselves and for others. We can see our own divinity. We honor every step of the path, and we demonstrate to others that they too can trust their intuition. And the more we trust, the easier the path. Oh my goodness, did you hear that? The more we trust, the easier the path. I want life to be easier, don't you? I think that's a great idea. All I got to do is trust some more. That's pretty cool. I can do that. I can do that. So one of the challenges that many of the people of the planet have is that at some point in time, they had an intuitive hit, if you want to call it that. They had this little mindset. They had this little voice that showed up that said, this is what you should do. And someone said, no, that's not what's going on. No, that's not what's happening. No, you're mistaken. Don't trust that. And we got off course. Well, it doesn't take much to get back on course. Just take a deep breath and start following that voice, listening for that voice and that intuitive knowing. I am loving this man so much. His name is Jay Shetty. He wrote the book Think Like a Monk, and I've been talking about him quite a bit. And I'm reading and rereading his book. I'm listening to his podcast, and I just love the wealth of information that's coming from him. And so he says this: when nobody else celebrates you, learn to celebrate yourself. When nobody else compliments you, then compliment yourself. It's not up to other people to keep you encouraged. It's up to you. We need to stop looking out there, outside of ourselves, for that fulfillment, for that joy, for that love, for that peace that we want within, and start looking within and figuring out how we can make that happen. We were not born to fit in. Let me say that again. You were not born to fit in. You were not born to sit in a corner and be quiet and left alone and ignored. We were born to stand out. Conformity and uniformity were designed as methods of social control. We know this. We're aware of this. Inherently, our unique identities defy these systems. The more we love ourselves as we are, the more those systems of control break down. Gender roles become obsolete because they are no longer as significant as we were told that they needed to be. Authenticity becomes a cultural value. Oh my goodness. How wonderful would that be if we're just standing around watching a child grow and encouraging them to just be who they are, authentically, in that joy and that energy of who they are. When we embrace who we are, we contribute to shifting our communities into loving and healthy communities. We embrace our identities as divine expressions and spirit, and encouraging others to do the same. The seeds of love that we plant today become the trees where generations of people can enjoy the fruits of love in the future. Did you think about it that way? Have you thought about the fact that each day we're planting seeds of love? Each day we're planting seeds. I'm not going to identify what some of them are because sometimes we're planting stuff and then it shows up and we're like, how the heck did that happen? And we planted it. But as we live in that place of consciousness and an awareness and that amazing place of love and self-love, the seeds we want to plant are love, to grow more and more love. Oscar Wilde said to love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. I wish I had understood that when I was 17 years old, because I was on a quest to find it someplace else. A lifelong romance with self. How beautiful is that? To get up every morning and be grateful for who you are. To get up every morning and celebrate the very energy of who you are and how you are. To have a conversation with someone and reflect on it later and think about all the wonderful things that were spoken by you and the other person and how that touched your heart. I'll give you the opposite of that. Is when you have those conversations and you walk away and then you keep processing what you should have said and what you didn't say, and did I really mean that, and is that what they really meant? And we break it down and we tear it apart.
But to have those moments where we're fully present, we're aware of who we are, we're living in that space of love and gratitude, and we're sharing it with someone else. And we're hearing their love and gratitude return to us. My oldest son does not have the same types of political views that I do. And last evening we had a birthday party for him at my house, and he wore a political shirt. I saw it at the beginning, and then I didn't think much about it, and then a little bit later I didn't think much about it, but when I got ready to post a few pictures on Facebook, I'm going, but I got to explain to some people. Do I got to explain to some people? I feel like I have to explain to some people what's going on here. And so what I think I put in my post was something like, my house has AstroTurf in the backyard, so there's this big 3-0, the 30-yard line is in the middle of my backyard. So I said something about, yes, my backyard is on the 30-yard line, and then I said something else about, yes, this, and then I said, and no, my son and I don't necessarily have the same political views, but all I have to do is love him. I don't have to make him see things my way. And it's really funny because he and I are an awful lot alike. And we express things in very similar ways. His are more what he calls intellect and philosophy, and mine are all God-oriented. And he doesn't use the word God very often unless he's telling somebody about me. But we have a respect for one another, and we have a genuine love for one another, that we can be present, we can enjoy our time together, and we don't have to bring this stuff up. So, I mean, I could have really gotten excited about the shirt he was wearing and made a whole deal of it, but later on in the evening I thought, I really didn't think that much about it, so why would I, you know? So let's think about that. Yeah. You love people that don't think like you do. We all do. And every now and then we're going to run into somebody that's just like pushing our buttons. And all we have to do is take a deep breath in and feel that space in the chest where the heart lives. And look at the love. And let the rest of it go. What would the world be like tomorrow, in a week, in a month, if we could all do this? Make that beautiful, simple shift. I found this quote from Letitia Ray, which I loved. We're going to use this as part of our close today. She says, I was looking for someone to inspire me, motivate me, support me, keep me focused. Someone who would love me, cherish me, make me happy. And I realized that all along I was looking for myself. Now, for those of us who are in relationship, like intimate relationship, a partner, a spouse, we keep thinking, oh, you know what, no, that's where the love is coming from. That's where my love is. And yes, that I would hope is a loving relationship, and there's a whole richness coming out of that as well. However, we get to develop it with ourselves first. We get to live that space, that time, that energy here, now. Self-talk, self-action, spiritual practices, all those beautiful, wonderful things that we can do that help us remember that we are beautiful, we are loved, we are valued. And then we can take that and adjust that and bring that to the world. Developing and maintaining spiritual practices is a great way to do this. And I've been living in the question the past couple of weeks of, am I doing enough? There's a part of my being that's feeling like there's something more I should do. And it's in the arena of spiritual practice. It's also in the arena of service, so I'm looking at that as well. But I get to this place, and it's so funny because some of your brains are going, no, wait a second, she's too busy to be doing this. No, I'm not. I go to that place of, is there something more that I should be bringing forth for me to help me be stronger and more capable in my spiritual practice? And is there something more I can be doing in service to the world, in service to the planet? And what does that look like? And how will God guide me into that? And I don't have to go get a book out and start looking up stuff, and I don't have to Google things, and I'm not happy with Google right now, because you Google something for 5 seconds and it shows up 52 times throughout the week. It's like Google's becoming a bit of a nag. I hadn't thought about that. Anyhow, so in that place of what can I do and how can I better serve myself, we want to look at those wonderful spiritual practices. And for me, it's taking more time for the quiet. When I lived in Aurora, Colorado, I lived in a house all by myself with my dog. Unless she was going crazy because there was a dog out front, my house was pretty darn quiet. Now I am living in a place where I'm hearing a lot of sounds because there's a dog salon really close, like on the other side of one of the walls in my house, and I'm hearing the dogs, and I'm seeing people come and go, and there's traffic, and my dog is doing this stuff, and I see my grandson, and I see my kids, and there's just, I mean, my world just, it blossomed, and it's what I wanted. It's what I wanted. Did you ever decide you wanted something, and then you're in the middle of getting it, and you're going, is this what I wanted? And I love it, and it's testing me, and it's good, and it's positive, and I'm very, very, very happy and content, and I am still saying that question, what do I need to do to deepen my spiritual practices more? What is it for me that will serve me more? The notes from our Global Vision team have this little piece in here. I want to share this with you. A practice of self-love could actually consist of knitting, assembling a puzzle, or playing a game on your phone. You're just taking a breather. You're taking some downtime. You're pausing. Your practice may look different every single day. You don't have to meditate for 45 minutes. And yay, you if you are. As we tweak our own practices, we will reap the wonderful rewards, and it will enrich our lives. It will enrich our beings. And what happens when we enrich our beings in that way? The physical body starts to comply. You can heal yourself through this process. It takes time. It takes work. You got to be dedicated. You got to be committed. But just think about that. All I have to do is shift some of my thinking and take some time for the quiet, and whatever ailment was going on with me 10 minutes ago might just leave my body, might just start to move away, because what happens then is the cells in the body become regenerated. They get active, they get excited for new growth. So many wonderful things that can serve us by learning how to love ourselves so much. And then by being able to live in that place of love out loud and sharing it not only with ourselves, but with everyone we come in contact with. What a beautiful idea. Let's focus on that this week. Please join me in prayer. As we take this time right here and right now to just allow this message and the words of inspiration and the music and the prayers from today to just percolate within us. We do so knowing that we are so blessed to be here. We're blessed to be of the divine, in the divine, and expressing as the divine. What I know right now for every single being on planet Earth is that we are all of God, and that God is with each and every one of us. All we need do is trust in that very idea, that truth. Breathe it in and listen. How beautiful is that? And so what I know today and every day this week is that each one of us steps into that place of love, loving out loud, giving love, sharing love, being loving, being lovable. Allowing ourselves to move away from criticism and doubt, turn those things over to God, and just embrace the truth. of the divine beings that are moving around us, that are filled with that essence of spirit, having a human experience. I know it's good and perfect, and I know it is all God. And so I give great thanks for this. I give great thanks for the very power of prayer, the very ability to open our mouths and speak our truth and know that it is heard in the mind of God, and that it supports our thinking, our choices, our desires in shifting to that highest and best for each and every one of us. And so I give thanks for this. I give thanks for the opportunity, the privilege to be here in this space, the privilege to live and love one another. And so we just let it go, knowing it is already alive in the mind of God. We just let it go, we let it be. And we say together, and so it is.
Here's a special verse just for today. Too many times do you say things to yourself you would never say to anyone else. Words can hurt, can be so unkind. Isn't it about time to find a way to take care of yourself? I've got an idea for me and you. 3 little words you can say. Make those words your truth. Here's the best part. Say, I love you. Say, I do. Say, I love you. It's as simple as that. A matter of fact, I love you. Too many times we think about tomorrow and think there will be plenty of time to tell the ones we love that we love them. Then their song runs out of rhyme. Well, I don't want to forget, and I don't want to regret. I want to make it happen now. So before it's too late, we've all got to find a way to live our love and say it out loud. Come on, say you do, even if right now it's inside of you. Say, I love you. It's as simple as that, a matter of fact, I love you. Why are 3 little words so hard to say? They can touch a heart like yours and mine in many amazing ways. Say, I love you. Say, you do. Go on, say you do. Say, I love you. It's as simple as that, a matter of fact, I love you. So, want to sing it? Oh, of course you do. All you have to do is say, I love you. Try it. Come on. I know you, Dawn. I know how well you sing. Are you ready? 1, 2, just sing that line with me. Say, I love you. Perfect. Then you sing, say I do. Say, I do. Sing, say I love you one more time. Say, I love you. It's as simple as that. Ready? It's as simple as that. A matter of fact. I love you. Ready? Don't be nervous. It's just a lot of love happening right in here. Here we go. Say, just like that, I love you. Give me all you got, everybody. Say, I do. Say, I love you one more time. Say, I love you. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. A matter of fact, I love you. Simple as that. It's a matter of fact. Where we are right now, I want you to know I love you. Let's say I love you. Ready? I love you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Hello. I'm Reverend Jenn Wilde, Senior Minister for New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living. New Dawn Center is a global community, and we welcome all people, all paths, all ways of thinking, all philosophies. So know that you are welcome here, and thank you for joining our online community.